AI hype has dominated the headlines for years, promising to revolutionize everything. But for Gen Z, that excitement is rapidly turning into something far more troubling. According to recent survey data, negative emotions toward AI have intensified dramatically over the past year. Anger has surged to an alarming 31%, while excitement about AI has plummeted to a mere 22%. This isn't just a mood swing, it's a generational betrayal. But here is where it gets really interesting. This emotional shift carries real stakes for everyone invested in the future of work and technology. Imagine a future where the next generation, the supposed digital natives, approaches the most transformative technology with deep apprehension. A staggering 42% of Gen Zers now report anxiety about AI, a rate that has remained stubbornly steady since 2025. This isn't fleeting concern, it's a persistent, underlying dread. Now, this next part is what nobody wants you to know. But here's the paradox: despite this rising anxiety and anger, 51% of Gen Zers in the US still report using generative AI at least weekly. How can a generation be so anxious, yet so reliant? This isn't a simple rejection, it's a forced, uneasy truce. They're caught between AI's undeniable utility and its increasingly unsettling implications, forcing a critical comparison between perceived benefits and emotional costs. Stay with me, because the next number will surprise you. The data paints an even clearer picture of this internal struggle. A massive 60% of Gen Zers who do not use AI reported significant anxiety about it. Yet, for daily users, that anxiety drops considerably to just 28%. This isn't just a correlation, it suggests a feedback loop. Engaging with AI reduces fear, but the barrier to entry, often fueled by anxiety, prevents many from even starting. But here's where it gets really interesting, revealing a profound generational divide within Gen Z itself. Not all young people are adopting AI at the same pace or for the same reasons. The pressure points and motivations vary dramatically, segmenting this cohort into distinct patterns of engagement and skepticism. And then something unexpected happened. We see this contrast starkly when comparing different age groups within Gen Z. According to the Gallup survey conducted in early 2026, Gen Z K-12 students are significantly more likely to use AI weekly, at 56%. This stands in contrast to Gen Z adults, where weekly adoption dips to 48%. This 8-point difference isn't accidental, it highlights distinct forces at play. But the real twist is still coming. The reason for K-12 students' higher engagement is clear: future imperative. Nearly 60% of Gen Z K-12 students firmly believe they will need to use AI in their post-secondary education or future jobs. For them, AI isn't an option, it's a mandatory skill for survival and success. This belief drives adoption, despite the underlying anxieties. Here is what almost everyone gets wrong. Stephanie Markin, senior partner at Gallup, observes this nuanced reality perfectly. She states, Gen Z isn't rejecting AI outright, but they are reassessing its role in their lives. This isn't a simple thumbs down, it's a careful, almost reluctant, recalibration. They're using it, but they're not necessarily loving it, and their trust is eroding. However, this reassessment has had a tangible impact on AI's growth trajectory within this crucial demographic. Despite the widespread use, the adoption curve isn't the steep climb tech companies hoped for. The initial surge has plateaued, and the numbers reveal a worrying stagnation. But here is where it gets really interesting. Specifically, Gen Z's AI adoption has remained remarkably stable since March 2025. There's been no significant increase or decrease in weekly usage. In fact, adoption growth increased by only a paltry 4 percentage points over the past year. This is not the explosive, exponential growth AI evangelists predicted for the generation raised on tech. Now, this next part is what nobody wants you to know. So, what's really driving this plateau and the emotional shift? Curiosity remains the most common emotion toward AI among Gen Z. But it's a tentative curiosity, immediately followed by the heavy weights of anxiety and then outright anger. This emotional hierarchy reveals a generation approaching AI with a blend of hesitant exploration and significant distrust. This insight from Dr. Funk perfectly explains Gen Z's reassessment. They're comparing the futuristic promises of AI, the frictionless workflow, the immediate answers, against the often clunky, hallucination-prone, and now, increasingly expensive reality. The disappointment, particularly in tools like ChatGPT, is palpable, fueling that anxiety and anger we observed. And then something unexpected happened. So, what does all this data mean for you? The survey, conducted from February. March 24, 2026, by the Walton Family Foundation, GSV Ventures, and Gallup, with 1,572 Gen Z participants aged 14 to 29, confirms one undeniable truth: the era of blind AI enthusiasm is dead. A critical, data-backed approach to AI is no longer optional, it's essential. But the real twist is still coming. For anyone looking to thrive in this AI-powered future, you must emulate the pragmatic K-12 students, not the wary adults. That means strategically leveraging tools like ChatGPT for specific tasks, understanding its limits, and treating it as a powerful assistant, not an all-knowing oracle. Focus on where AI adds demonstrable value, not just where it can be applied. Here is what almost everyone gets wrong. Gen Z isn't rejecting AI. They are recalibrating their expectations and demanding more responsible, reliable, and relevant applications. The current plateau in adoption and the rising tide of negative sentiments signal a crucial reassessment period, forcing the entire industry to confront AI's limitations, not just its potential. The question is, how will you adapt your skills and strategy in this new landscape? Are you falling into the trap of AI anxiety? Or are you strategically using it to your advantage, like the K-12 students who see it as a mandatory tool for their future careers? But here is where it gets really interesting. Don't let the generational skepticism hold you back. In my next video, I'll reveal 3 specific, underutilized AI tools that Gen Zers are quietly adopting to gain a competitive edge in their studies and early careers. Hit that subscribe button and notification bell so you don't miss out on those game-changing insights.